I don't understand why.
What were they last time?
Rock.
Yeah, pop.
Folk? No, we didn't do folk. It was pop. I think it was just rock and pop.
I'd say that's accurate enough.
Yeah, we'll stick with that.
Oh, I am literally getting cold right now. Give me one quick sec.
Always late. Always late. Now I just gotta sit here. Although it's not like anybody's actually listening to this part. This is the... Although I guess on YouTube, this is the part that grabs people's attention. You hear my nice bubbly water there. Maybe
Sorry
this
about
is
that.
why we don't get views on YouTube.
I'm good to go now.
I was just saying, maybe this is why we don't get views on YouTube, because we just have random shit for 10 minutes.
What were you saying? Pop and rock.
Can you hear me? Cooper? I hope you can't hear me, because you just keep interrupting me while I'm trying to talk to you. He can't hear me. Fuck's sake. This again.
I'm sorry, my headphones are just...
Matt, clip this, please.
My headphones are officially in. Okay, what's up?
I've been trying to talk to you for like the past 2 minutes, and you just keep interrupting me.
Sorry, my headphone jack on the computer I built is kind of janky. So if I move around too much, it like kind of unplugs itself, and I can't hear. So I can't tell whenever you're not talking or it's come unplugged.
It sounds like you need to get a longer headphone cable.
I don't know, it's a good length. It's just like the jack is janky.
Well, it shouldn't be coming unplugged if you're moving around and the cord's long enough.
Well, not unplugged per se, but like unaligned. Like if you jiggle it, it like stops working. I don't know what the phrase for that is.
Maybe try the plug on the back of the computer. That's what I do.
Yeah, I actually probably should move to that, but I actually don't think it's long enough for that.
So you do need a longer cable.
Okay, yes, but not for the reason you said before.
Yeah, whatever. I was saying maybe the reason we don't get any views on YouTube is because we just have a random shit for the first 10 minutes of the podcast.
Didn't you say that's what we're supposed to be doing?
Huh?
Whenever we first started, you're the one who suggested doing the 10 minutes of talking.
Yeah, but it works for Twitch, but it doesn't work for YouTube.
Oh, for YouTube. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. No, I guess we're doing it on Twitch, so...
Yeah.
I guess we could always just cut it down whenever we upload it. I don't know how difficult that would be.
I don't know, but effort, you know?
Well, there we go.
Because literally all I do is I hit upload, and then that's it. I add the cover art for the album. That's about it.
Hey, well, that's something.
We're not going to review Nutella, Jonah.
I see. How did he just discover Nutella?
I don't know, but it sounds like he goes through about a jar every 2 days.
Oh, that's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, it's 55% sugar by weight.
Oh.
And he was asking for a replacement, and he wants a chocolate hazelnut spread instead of Nutella. I'm like, I can't help you there, bud. You just have to eat less sugar.
Probably healthier alternatives. They're more expensive, I'm sure, though.
Yeah. Just gotta eat dark chocolate.
Oh, dark chocolate is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heart healthy.
I just finished a bar of 86% dark Ghirardelli because I had a coupon.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I just had a pizza.
Yum.
So less heart healthy.
Yeah. What kind of pizza?
Sicilian. Is that like ham?
I don't know. I haven't Well, I'm not that big of a fan lately of meat on
Ham?
pizza.
That's fair. I mean, it can get a bit much, but this was just ham with like some other veggies. I think bell pepper and stuff. So it wasn't too extra.
I've always been a big fan of garden pizzas, but people don't seem to like those.
I do enjoy a good veggie pizza.
Oh, what was it at Purdue? They had that vegetarian margarita pizza. Oh, it's so good. So terrible for you, probably, but it was vegetarian, so you could pretend it was healthy.
Now they don't have any food.
Yeah,
they give you a brown bag with an apple in it. Say that'll be $8.
Pratik and I were talking last night. Did you know the Avenue no longer exists?
What do you mean it no longer exists?
It got sold.
Is it gone?
It got split up and sold to another company.
Wow. That's wild. Everything is disappearing. It's like it's got Thanos snapped.
Yeah, I mean it's still there, and they probably used the exact same pictures that the other website had, and it's still got a.
No, you go there, it's just an empty lot now.
No, it's still got a 3.2
star rating. It's been there for 30 years.
Still got that 3.2 star rating.
Oh, good. It earned every star.
Yeah, one of the top ones. A Light West. Thank you.
A Light West. Interesting. Huh. Well, I mean, I'm not going there anymore, so I guess all fine by me. I'm sad at the memories that were had at the Avenue, not the loss of the Avenue itself.
I mean, it's still there. The building and all that shit's still there, so I don't care. It just changed its name. New management, which is probably just as bad.
So now south is west and north is west. That's confusing.
That is confusing.
Not even the same cardinal directions on like the same axes.
I guess they're both west of. They're not even both west of campus. They're both.
I guess they're both in West Lafayette. I guess, but that's like a dumb reason to say it. Huh. There you go. Times they are changing. Back when I used to go to Purdue, it was one building and a field of corn.
Still kind of is.
I paid 2 nickels a month to stay in a barn 18 miles north of there.
Why would you stay so far away if it was just one building?
Because there's no other places to stay. It's all rural.
I guess.
It's the oldie days, Sam. Things are different. They didn't have things like computers and indoor plumbing. They had to make do.
They had to learn to appreciate freeform jazz.
I do like the idea of like 17th century Amish, like just playing jazz. Like very modern, like coffee shop music jazz. That image is just funny to me.
How would they listen to it, though?
They just play it live, right? Bust out the jazz flute, some bongo drums. They had pianos back then. That's all you really need.
Yeah, they did.
Or a harpsichord.
I don't think you could do jazz with a harpsichord.
I don't think it'd sound as good. But
I don't think it would sound good, period.
I totally think you could try.
You definitely could try.
Maybe it's just no one's attempted it yet.
You know what? I gotta look now. You've piqued my interest.
There's got to be at least one video of one person trying to play jazz on a harpsichord.
Hold on, there. I did get a hit.
Hey, there you go.
Let's see videos. Documentary on the recording of Josef Horowitz's Jazz Harpsichord Concerto.
Wow.
Early jazz on harpsichord.
Oh, there you go. I'm assuming it fell out of style.
let's listen to that later. That was very loud. But already I can tell it doesn't sound good.
I mean, just get more freeform than that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we didn't do too much chat about our day, but we need to get into it. We gotta.
Well, let's do it.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast. This week, we are continuing "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road" by Elton John. Brief interlude for Labor Day weekend, which some people have called not a real holiday weekend, but I say you're spitting on the grave of all those unions that fought to get us a weekend. So
I'm not going to complain about a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we're doing the second half of the album now. Previously, 2 weeks ago, we'd done the first LP of this double LP, all the way up to track number 8. I've seen that movie. So today we'll be going from track number 9, Sweet Painted Lady, all the way to the end of the album.
And there's not really much point, I'd say, in going over the history and all that jazz again. So if you want to hear that, it's on the YouTube channel, I think.
Yeah, watch the first video.
Yeah, unless I've forgotten to upload that.
In case you don't know who Elton John is.
Who's he?
He's the one who played with the Beatles, right?
Yeah, he was that one that was the singer for Queen, right?
Yep. He was the one who played jazz harpsichord, right?
All right, whatever. Well, jumping into the first track of this episode, track number 9, Sweet Painted Lady.
Sweet Painted Lady. So this is the first track on the second LP. And I think it's a pretty delightful starting track.
Yeah, just to give a bit of I need to get like a warning sign to flash across the screen. I'm going to be extremely angry for this entire episode.
Wow, why is that? You didn't seem like that on the
Raging Furious
on the first half of the album.
I don't remember the first half of the album, which maybe is why I was so mad on the second half. Because I wasn't going to sit down and listen to the whole first half again. We already talked about that. I need to brush up on the second half.
But you don't remember it 2 weeks ago.
That's a long time. I listen to a lot of music, a lot of the same music, and my brain doesn't.
Okay, I was about to say.
But this song, it's good. It's got some good musical progression right away. About a minute in, that French horn comes in, which is really nice. However, there's going to be a lot of buts. No buts. A lot of buts.
No buts.
It only comes in on the left ear. There's nothing on the other side to balance it.
I suppose, but it's just such a light brass that I don't think it's very unbalanced. It's very distant, even though it's very muted and pleasant.
It is, but I am a strong believer in you need to have the balance. If you're going to do the split, you need to have balance. Because it puts extra strain on that side. And if you don't balance it out, you're going to feel it after a period of time. I will say that the best split on this album that I can remember is in this one, because there is the chorus where in each ear is a different take of Elton John singing, which was pretty cool. Because he's
very
singing...
delightful.
Sorry.
Oh, no, keep going.
Because he's singing the same thing each time, but it's just 2 separate takes. So there's very tiny variations in it, and you can tell. So it sounds like there's 2 Elton Johns, and I like that. That was cool.
Yeah, no, the chorus is very pleasant. It's got this strings and accordion going into it, and like you said, Elton John's kind of vocals going on both ear has this nice layered like duet effect with himself.
Mm-hmm.
And his vocals, I feel like we haven't talked about his vocals enough so far on this album. They're very good. I like how kind of they're good, and
Elton
I like
John
them.
is good at singing.
Good at singing. News at 5. No, but it's like a very it carries a lot of emotion, like a little bit of nostalgia. No, very very sweet and floaty. Obviously, it varies throughout the album, but I thought it was a very delightful take on his voice on this one.
Yeah, it was. I mean, his voice is just always great. There was one later on, I think, where it was just a little odd, but this one, fantastic singing the whole way through. As for that accordion, I really like the addition of the accordion. but it was its position again. It was mainly in the right ear, but it was like behind your head on the right, so you could hear it a little bit on the left as well, just a tiny bit.
You have very particulars with your like sonic placement.
Yeah, that is a big part of making music, right?
I suppose. I mean, I notice these things, but they don't really bother me as much as they do for you.
I mean, if you're upset about how much I'm complaining now, just strap in.
Oh goodness!
But I don't know. It's very odd to me that you try and balance because the accordion was quite sharp, and it didn't really do anything to balance a very mellow French horn. Music pun. Mellow, mellophone, French horn, same thing. I don't know. It's very odd sonically to make that choice.
Yeah, I suppose I don't really understand I don't get like a net benefit from it, but at least for me, you don't get like a negative either.
At least on this song.
Oh, okay. Well, it does end with seagull and shore sounds, Sam. You like those?
And those were great. That was a great way to fade out a song.
So that makes up for it a little bit.
But jump into track number 10 if you're ready.
Yes, track number 10, The Ballad of Danny Bailey, parentheses, 1909 to 34.
So it's like that how old the guy was?
I'm assuming that's like his life.
Died pretty young.
Yeah, no, but that's what you make it's tragic. That's why he's making a piano ballad about the death of a man. Should be longer, honestly, by I don't know, 15 minutes or so.
Okay. Listen. We don't want to listen to Murder Most Foul by Bob Dylan, where he spends 5 of the 17 minutes listing songs that were popular during that time period.
Perfectly balanced on both sides of the ears, might I add.
Yes, it is, because music should be that way, but that doesn't make it good.
Yeah, no, that song's kind of trash. But this one, I think, has got a little more energy going into it. It says it's a ballad, but it's definitely not that. No. Or at least like a very it's got a lot more energy to it than your typical ballad.
It does. And I appreciate the upbeat, faster pace. But don't knock the record player here, because I'm going to be skipping for the next couple of minutes. But again, it just slaps the main guitar line squarely in the left ear and nothing on the other side. Did you pick up on that whatsoever?
Not on the guitar line as much, no.
And then, in addition to the guitar line only in the left ear, they put the piano line there too, with just a tiniest bit of fade to the right. What I want to know is who thought that was a good idea?
I guess Elton John sound engineers.
But what I don't, it does nothing. If you play it through speakers, it does nothing, right? The mixing that way is only for headphones. So why would you do that? And then there were some lovely strings that came in, but I'll give you 3 guesses to figure out which ear they came in on.
The left one.
The left ear. There are some brief moments where it balances nicely, but it feels like they just shoved all of the instruments into the left ear.
I will say the most obvious is it's got some powerful bass that breaks in. I don't know. I just am not bothered by it as much as you are, Sam.
I don't know how you are not, because it is infuriating.
I don't know how you are. I think it's quite pleasant. Not the actual act of it. I think the music. I don't really care one way or another, as long as it sounds nice. How much is in one ear or the other? Though I don't think it's as lopsided as you're making it out to be. It's not like the right ear is lacking any sound whatsoever.
No, you're right. It's not as bad yet. But
I feel like you're building towards a point.
I am. It's honestly the second half of this album. It feels like, I don't know, maybe Elton John hates music in the right ear or something, but this song was pretty heavily left loaded, which was crazy for me. But yeah, it was. I for this song, I could barely focus on it just because there was so much going on in the left ear. Because usually when I like to focus on the backing track of songs because everybody's beaten to death how good. No,
Elton John.
yeah. If he was going deaf in the right ear, it would be louder in the right ear. No music in the right ear. But it was very heavily loaded in the left, and you need balance. I don't know. It just feels like your head's being pulled over when you got too much on one side.
Huh.
And it's very difficult to pick out individual pieces when you only have one ear to listen to.
I suppose. I don't know. I just this doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you.
It really bothers me.
So I can't empathize as much on this one as well.
But basically, all I had for this track was complaining about the balancing.
Well, can we at least give it props in saying that it's got some great piano playing mixed with some good bass and some string? It's got a string solo in here.
The strings were great. It wasn't just violins. It was an incorporation of a bunch of different orchestral things.
This is a very lush instrumentation.
Mm-hmm. Just very poorly mixed.
Maybe you should listen to the albums on just like in your car speaker.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
to get
that's my recommendation. If you're
enjoyment.
going to listen to this album, do not fucking listen on headphones. You will hate yourself.
I don't know. So maybe you're just a special case. Maybe you just have like some sort of some spatial like acuteness.
I don't know,
like
maybe,
a heightened sense.
If I can save one person from experiencing the pain I've experienced this evening, do not listen to this with headphones. The second half of this album is absolute shit on headphones.
I just want to chime and say I wasn't bothered by it, but obviously your mileage may vary.
Yeah, speakers you will only have positives from listening on speakers.
Oh yeah, what if the sound engineer was going deaf in his right ear? They just didn't notice.
Maybe.
But Matt's saying there, and they just didn't have the heart to tell him.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's jump on to the next track then, shall we? Jump into track number 11.
Number 11, Dirty Little Girl. I don't think they make that track title anymore nowadays.
No.
That's a trend I'm glad died with the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a little more by the books, I'd say. Kind of a little rockin' tone. Piano's a little honky tonk. It's got electric guitar going on,
mm-hmm.
But this one didn't really do anything super standoutish for me, at least.
It's got a nice little bit of rock organ going on, which I like.
Oh yeah, it's like a fine rock ditty, but I don't know. It just doesn't carry the energy. It kind of has like a foot in each door. It's got like a little rock organ. It's got like some rock trappings, but like it's a little slower, and I don't know. It just doesn't feel as full as you'd expect from an Elton John rock song.
I get that, but you know what really carries energy?
What's that?
The fucking loud ass hi-hat that's only in the left ear. Why would you do that? Literally, it was the only thing I could hear when it came on, was the hi-hat just slamming away only in the left ear. My ear actually started getting sore at this point because of how heavily loaded it was.
I mean, it is in the left ear. I'm not going to say my ears got sore from it.
Mine did. And then the backing vocals, guess what ear they were in? The left ear. I was a fan of the brass coming in because I actually thought my headphones were breaking because of how it was just, I would continuously take my left earbud off or my left side off to make sure that I wasn't going deaf in my right ear. And no, I could hear, and when the brass came in, it was perfectly balanced both sides, but they just shoved. Why you do not split sharp sounds. It doesn't work that way. Unless you're balancing it with an equally sharp sound, you can't just put the hi-hat in the left ear and then nothing of the same balance on the right. It's awful. Such a bad song.
Sam confirmed if he could go back in time, he'd murder the man who created stereo music.
I have a rant about it in the next one. If you don't think I've ranted about it.
Oh, you haven't got to the rant?
No, I haven't gotten to the rant yet.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I didn't have too much to say about that. The hi hat is, I will give you that point. Having percussion only a ear, especially something like hi hat, is a bit off putting. I don't think it's a deal breaker, but on a song that's already kind of not super remarkable, um, it doesn't add anything to it.
I think having the percussion exclusive to one ear is a unforgivable sin.
Unforgivable.
I believe that's one of the tenets of the Catholic Church.
Plus, this song's like 5 minutes long.
Yeah, which makes it worse.
Good guitar though, I'll give it that. But beyond that, kind of a skippable one. Yeah, I think
it's not a good song.
All right, do you want to
12?
Track number 12.
All the girls love Alice.
All the girls love Alice. So, is this the one with your write up, Sam?
It is.
All right, I'll let you take the floor then.
Because I'll give a brief overview. We start with a bit of upbeat guitar, which is nice, and then some handbells come in, exclusively in the left ear. I'm not going to pull punches for this thing, man. It was remastered in 2014. I realized that it was the style of the time because of the Beatles, and honestly, fuck the Beatles for this one trend. I love the Beatles, but I fucking hate them for establishing this. It doesn't make it good. You know mullets, right? Mullets were popular too at one point, but that doesn't make them any less awful. Like,
you're saying this is something you're glad that died.
Yes. I don't understand. Like, just because you can split the music up and have it one in each ear is like, ooh, it's new, it's novel. So, doesn't make it good.
So it's a bit of the Jeff Goldblum. You spent so much time thinking whether or not you could, you didn't stop to think if you should.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, just because you can staple yourself to a wall, should you? No. Why would you do that? Oh, it's so bad. It's absolutely terrible. Honestly, every single song on this album is left ear focused. There's not one song that is balanced between both ears. This one has the crappy ass bells. The one before this had the hi-hat that was louder than the actual song. And the next one, each of the next songs has another thing that they just slap exclusively in the left ear with no balance. I understand splitting things up. It's been done. We've listened to albums in the past that have done it very well, right? Benny and the Jets did it well. Earlier on the album, it had the call and response, but it didn't stick in one ear for too long before playing both of them at the same time, and it was balanced. That was a good, sonic split there. These, you're just slapping the hi-hat that's constantly going in the background in the left ear. Like, what does that do?
Okay, you know what, Sam, you're convincing me a little bit, because this song is a lot more blatant about it. And I guess from my point of view, it doesn't bother me, but I don't see how anyone could gain anything from this. So, and obviously it bothers you, so I'm seeing it as a net negative.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think is that, honestly, the sound mixer was going deaf in the left ear, and putting stuff in the left ear made it really loud, made him able to hear it, and it sounded balanced to him. That's the only thing I can think of is why it's like this. Because why, going back to Dirty Little Girl, why having 3 instruments exclusively in the left ear, why would that be a good thing?
I can't say. I'm sure some audio engineer probably has some sort of theory, but
because it was a shit trend at the time. That's all it was. It was started by the Beatles, and because the Beatles did it, everybody thought it was godsend. But no, it was just a shitty trend that was probably the shittiest thing that they did.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you're very passionate about this.
Yeah.
And I'm more ambivalent about it.
By this point, my ear was honestly hurting, so it was pissing me off.
Oh, beyond that, I think it's let's ignore the unbalanced hearing for a second. I'd say it's a good rock song. If we put everything else behind it in terms of the audio balancing.
Yeah, I like the electric synth that comes in. I will say the end of this one, normally I'm a fan of sound effects, but the ones at the end of this were just kind of crap.
It was like a wall of sound. I kind of appreciate like the chaoticness of it. though I have heard it better.
Yeah.
I like kind of like the wall of sound before the song closes out. It did have an interesting story, though. I'm not sure if you're listening to the lyrics at all.
No, I couldn't.
It's along the lines of like a girl that's like sleeping around with like other women, but she doesn't really want to do it, just like the way she was raised. It's kind of a sad one, but I don't know what Elton John's ultimate point on the song was, but at least it had a pretty unique story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So points for that.
I don't know. I can appreciate lyrics, but if it doesn't sound good, I don't give it points. Like Murder Most Foul by Bob Dylan. Very, very important. Very good story. Probably one of the worst songs I've ever heard.
Did you say it doesn't sound good? Let's go on to track number 13. Your sister can't twist, but she can rock and roll.
I wonder what Cooper's least favorite song is off that comment.
I'm not sure what your opinion on this song is, but I really don't like this song.
Was it Rockabilly? I don't remember. I don't remember hearing Rockabilly.
It's sock hop-esque, which obviously, as much as you hate the left ear stuff, I really don't like rockabilly sock hop music. It's definitely carrying this.
Because I love rockabilly and sock hop because I like making you listen to it.
But this one's like, God, it's like if Beach Boys went to hell and it was like a carnival.
Yeah, I actually like the Beach Boys elements of this.
No, I like Beach Boys in general, but it's like so like saturated and sugary, and like these like almost like playful like carnival noises, like on top of like this sock hop rhythm. That it's like it's overload. It's way too much to me. It's like
the circus synth was pretty weird.
It's like snorting like powdered sugar, right? It's like so sweet right to your senses. And it's like it's a tight song. It's sub 3 minutes, but it's like it packs, I think, too much energy into too short of a time. Like there's no breathing room anywhere, or like where a song will have like a bridge or some sort of break. You're like, let you collect yourself. This one just go.
I can see where you're coming from on that. I was more upset by the bright guitar exclusively in the left ear, and then the drums and hi-hat exclusively in the left ear.
I mean, I was too busy with that damn like literal circus music being played at like 1:45. Exactly. I feel like maybe it's because I'm afraid a clown's going to come out and poke me in my eyes.
While the Beach Boys were chanting in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're going to sacrifice me to some sort of like pet noises god.
Yeah, that one was the circus music kind of threw me off. That was very off-putting.
Like I'm all for novelty every now and then, but yeah, this wasn't it, Chief.
Yeah. Although I don't think I feel as strongly on it as you do.
So you know the feeling.
Yes, I know the feeling. Jump into track number 14 if you're ready to get away from your least favorite song. Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, which is probably... is this a single?
This is his fourth single, with the first being Beating the Jets, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I think Candle the Wind was the third one, and then this one. So really, the first three singles are all back to back to back. So I guess that's the reason why you flip it over to LP too.
Yeah. Well, usually they put that at the start of the record, but for some reason, what would be even the start?
That's be Sweet Painted Lady, which I actually really like that song.
Yeah, it's good, but
it's a solid opener.
Yeah, I feel like
this wasn't the start of side B on the second LP.
Yeah, I definitely feel like you should have Saturday Night as the start of the side B, but
which
breaking the trend.
Just to take a step back from the music, I feel like I wonder how up until like the invention of like online streaming, where like the actual like physicality of like flipping an LP right went out of style with CDs and like tapes, like how much that affected the ordering of songs, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it has, because almost every single album you hear that's older has, the side A is the best side. That's just the way it is. And then you have one good song at the start of side B to get people to flip it over, and then that's where you pack all the shit songs.
That makes. I
Not
guess it's just kind
necessarily
of
shit, but just worse.
less popular,
Yeah.
or like side B. Is called side B for a reason.
Yeah, there's a reason that's, you know.
I don't know. I guess it's just something that usually doesn't occur to me because, obviously we're listening to this album on Spotify. It's just one straight listing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just proves that humans have always been lazy.
Yeah.
That when you had to physically flip it, it'd be like, whatever.
Yeah. I will say there is one album that actually came out that was exclusively a B-side. And it was that new Panic at the Disco album. What was that? What was that called again?
Oh, Rest for the Wicked? Was that what it was?
No. Shit, what was the newest one?
I'm completely blanking.
It was
I'm thinking of
Pray for the Wicked.
Pray for the Wicked.
Yeah, that was amazingly that album was entirely the B-side.
Yeah, I didn't super care for that one.
Imagine Dragons Origins was too. So that's the new trend of just having an album that's all B-side.
I think those are just bad albums.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The joke I'm making, Cooper.
Oh, I get. Ho.
Ho, 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 ho.
Funny joke.
But yeah, Saturday Night. This is
actually going back to the song.
Going back to the actual song.
Or avoiding talking about it, but it is a great song.
It is. It's a good song.
It's an Elton John single.
Mm-hmm.
He's known for putting out some pretty fire singles. And I mean, this is the one that's got, this is the energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't lack the energy like in Dirty Little Girl. And it doesn't like have so much that it like blasts you in the face with it like Your Sister Can't Twist. This one's, got that iconic guitar line, infectious singing in the chorus, with it. And that, Saturday going on. It's the right kind of energy going through you.
I will say, listening to it critically, it is a little bit repetitive, but it's just so much fun.
Yeah, it's there's no, it's like a 5-minute song.
Yeah.
And it definitely doesn't like switch it up. But I guess it's got such a strong strong foundation that like it's able to write it enough. I mean, the last like 2 minutes of the song is literally him just saying the word Saturday over and over. But it's got the solid enough foundation that it's fun enough.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't like, load this up 8 times on a queue, but.
And, the hi-hat was only in the right ear on this one, so my left ear got a break. And then I don't remember that really loud synth that like just after the classic guitar line at 240. Loud
synth. I'm trying to remember.
It lasted for like half a second, and it really it shocked me because I don't remember it. I mean, it's a 5-minute song; it's a half a second thing, so obviously.
Oh yeah. I have it going in the on my other monitor. I have it playing in the background a little bit. It's like that. Just kind of jumps in there.
Yeah, it kind of made me jump. I was like, "Oh, I don't remember that."
Yeah, my mind kind of erased that for some reason. It is kind of out of left field, but I guess it's like there for like literally less than a second.
Yeah.
I will say, it's kind of awesome.
Sorry, go ahead.
There's like no synth in this song besides that.
So. I think that's why it jumped out to me.
Maybe I accidentally leaned against the keyboard.
I mean,
keep that in.
It's really loud, so I could see that being the cause. I will say I like when he's saying Saturday over and over at the end, because I've always been able to make it sound like other things in my head.
Such as?
So it can sound like Side of Me after you've heard it a couple of times. Obviously, it sounds like Saturday. Right. Or, you can take it a little bit cheekier, and if you listen, it starts to sound like Sodomy.
Yeah, I guess so. Huh. That one probably wouldn't sell as well.
No. Saturday.
I mean, by the end of the song. I mean, the word Saturday just kind of loses its meaning by the end of this song.
Yeah, that's probably what it comes from. Is if you just repeat a word over and over enough, it stops sounding like a real word.
Your brain breaks a little bit.
Yeah.
Solid single.
But that's something I always think of whenever I listen to this song.
Saturday night's all right for sodomy.
Jump into track number 15. Roy Rogers.
This one brings the energy back down a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of country inspired too, which is I do not like country music whatsoever, but the little influences that it brings in, I thought was a nice kind of mixing of, writing a pop song, but having it clearly reference country music.
Yeah, it's definitely like country-esque, country adjacent, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got this like, especially like these kind of wailing Western twings going on in the background, kind of like that wailing guitar.
That twangy country guitar.
Got that twang and twing to it.
Occasionally, Elton John has that country twinge in his voice.
Yeah, which works much better than the Jamaican twinge she had on Jamaican Girl.
Yes. That was bad.
So this one goes a little better.
Mm-hmm.
It's sleepier. I think it's a word that you could use for it,
mm-hmm.
like campfire music. But definitely a little grander because it's got the piano going on, and there's like stacked vocals on the harmonies or on the chorus. Yeah, it's an interesting take on kind of like an Elton John country-esque song. Because I think Roy Rogers in the lyrics is like an actual cowboy, so thus.
Well, he was the king of the cowboys, Cooper. He appeared in over 100 films and numerous radio and television episodes of the Roy Rogers Show.
Oh,
excuse me.
So he was like a kind of like a Lone Star type figure.
Yeah, very popular Western star.
I don't watch many Westerns, so.
No.
But I guess Elton John did.
Or at least he watched some of them.
He wrote enough to write a song about it.
I think he sang Happy Trails.
Like, Roy Rogers, was Roy Rogers a real person?
Yeah, well, that's his stage name.
Okay, but
he changed his name from Leonard Frank Slyle.
Yeah, no, Roy Rogers is is a little more cowboy than Slyle.
Or Sly, however you want to pronounce it. I like Slyle better.
He probably preferred Sly.
Probably.
No, Sly's kind of a cool cowboy name, though.
Yeah, that definitely feels more like a city slicker, like private investigator name.
Leo Sly? That's kind of got a ring to it.
Leo Sly, Private Eye. That's definitely a
like
name. Now Roy Rogers, that's a cowboy name.
That's a cowboy name through and through.
But yeah, he was an actor and singer.
Huh. And he has his own chain of restaurants. Go figure. Huh.
Chain of restaurants?
Yeah. I'm just looking it up. In his later years, he lent his name to a franchise chain called the Roy Rogers Restaurants.
Never heard of him.
I mean, I guess it probably more of a Southern thing. Looks kind of like a Hardee's.
Because the world needs more of those.
But yeah, nice little is a change of pace.
Yeah,
I think it was a lot more successful experiment than a couple of his other songs on this album.
I agree. It's got some nice strings in it as well. And this is the only one where there wasn't a glaring instrument only in one ear. Literally the only song on the back half of this album.
I guess cowboy music was mostly in mono.
Yeah. As all music should be. Unless you balance it correctly. Jumping to track number 16. Yeah.
So this one's going for less of a Western twinge and more of a Southern twinge. With like some birdsong and banjo going on Social Disease.
Yeah. What the heck was going on with the intro of the song?
What, at the very beginning?
Yeah, there was like birds chirping and background noises, but the singing was really far away, and then it like came up.
What I mentally imagined as it, I'm not sure if this was the intent. I was like, you're like driving or like walking down an old dusty road in like the South, and like Elton John's like wearing his overalls, he's on the front porch, and you hear it from the distance, and then you walk up, and then it gets louder. That's what I was getting from it, at least.
I think it could have been done better because I don't know. At first I thought I accidentally knocked my volume on my headphones, and then I'm like, wait, no, it's all the way up. Why is it so quiet? And it lasted for so long that I was like, did they just mix the song wrong? And then it came up, It was just like, if I could see if they did it differently, that'd be a good vibe. But it just sounded weird.
Yeah, it's a little odd. Like I said, I'm just extrapolating because that's the only way I can kind of explain it in my head. Yeah, this one's I guess less Western and more Southern.
Yeah.
Which is this is another song of this album about getting away from the city and back to your country roots. Uh,
with banjo.
yeah. So I guess maybe at this time Elton John was getting tired of the city at this point.
Yeah. He also really liked putting percussion instruments exclusively in the left ear, with the tambourine and main guitar line being in the left ear. Again.
Well, yeah, that one's also present on this one. But that song's got a cute character.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's got some good banjo playing.
Yeah, the banjo is probably the best part of the song, if we're being honest. There was some sax as well, but it was...
Yeah, it's like this really squeaky sax.
Yeah, and it was exclusively in the right ear with a little bit of echo into the left, which was weird.
It's kind of had like a sitcom intro sax going on. So yeah, the song's a bit of a melting pot, but I think it mostly works out.
Yeah. I don't know. That sax, I would have liked a bit of a more deeper sax. It was very, very high and squeaky.
Yeah.
It almost sounded synth-like, but it still was a real sax.
Yes, this one's an interesting song. I'm not quite sure where to place it mentally. But it's fun.
Aside from that intro segment.
Yeah, that one's just a weird bit of audio mixing.
Yeah.
Luckily, the entire album's been pretty rock solid besides that.
Shit. No. Jumping to final track number 17, Harmony.
Yep. Harmony. This one's a short little 3-minute track.
Yeah, honestly, it came and went before I even registered that it had moved on. I felt like it was a really weak ending song.
Oh, I think you're being not being very courteous to this song. I mean, it's a bit moodier, a little slower, with like these strings in the background, but like the chorus is like kind of triumphant, especially with John Lennon's vocals kind of busting out on them. I think it's a strong note in the album as opposed to any of the other songs in the album.
Yeah, I don't know. It's calm, but it just feels like there could be better. Excuse me, a better ending track. What it would be, I don't know, but.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's more of like an epilogue track, almost.
Yeah.
Just doesn't have like that credits, energy. But at the very least, it didn't like end on a fade out. It actually ended on like Elton John's harmonies.
True.
And then
then
stop
for it.
Which I hate when an album ends on a fade out. It's like, oh, what? What are you fading out to?
I'm also glad that's a trend that's not as popular, that songs don't end, they just fade. It's like writing a book that you just end with ellipses. You never finish the final thought.
Yeah, it's like it's like you just left with the ennui of like the universe, and you're like, oh, I guess, okay.
Guess they didn't know how to write an ending.
But yeah, that's the final track on the album. Harmony.
And that's the complete Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. So when we're doing our analysis, we're just going to talk about the second half. And you can draw what your own average would be between the two, yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm going to kind of combine my favorites, and I took like a favorite and least favorite from each half, just to be a little more fair there. But I guess if you want to, we'll start with our favorite tracks on the album.
Yeah.
On a nice positive note.
Yeah.
Probably for mine, probably won't be much of a surprise, but I really like Benny and the Jets. It's such a fun piano song that just exemplifies all of John's positive traits, right? His vocals, his piano playing, his kind of ability to mix like pop and rock and energy that has its own unique, like just solid hooks. There's a reason this one's got like 200 million plays on Spotify because it just sinks its teeth in you. Doesn't let go. And on the back half of the album, I also really liked Sweet Painted Lady. I think there's also some strong contenders. I mean, obviously, Saturday Night's All Right, it's a great song, but Sweet Painted Lady is just so pleasant on the ears. John's vocals are so clean. And I don't know, just all those strings and accordions. Obviously, you didn't care so much for the audio mixing, but it didn't bother me as much. I just thought it was a very solid start to a second LP. What about you, Sam?
Well, I just have my second half because this is part 2 and not the entirety of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road because we did part 1 last time.
We're just trying to be wrapping it up, you know?
Yeah, well, if they want to know the complete story, just go listen to the other one. It's already there. We already talked about it. We don't need to rehash old.
Pisha. Okay, what's your favorite song in the second half of the album?
My favorite song in the second half was Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. Cliche, I know, but it's just such a fun song. I always turn it up when it comes on.
It does get you pumped. Then on the opposite end, what's your least favorite track on the second half?
My least favorite track was Dirty Little Girl. That hi-hat exclusively in the left ear was one of the worst mixing things I've ever heard in music.
You just didn't care for it?
It was god-awful. It was shit.
That's fair.
I think when they remastered this in 2014, they should have fixed the album. Like, I don't care that it's not exactly the same, but, you know, I think having good music balanced is important.
Hey, well, I guess 1973 Elton John would disagree with you.
And what about you, Cooper?
Probably not much of a surprise, but Your Sister Can't Twist.
Yeah.
Well, she can rock and roll. Yeah, that one I'm not a fan of. It's like annoying. It's straight up just hurts my ears. I mean, I guess, singing's not bad. It's not like it's badly performed per se, but just the final product. I don't know who this is pointed towards.
Mm-hmm.
Not me, obviously. It just makes it a kind of unbearable listen. I just don't care for it. This would be the swipe left. Just like, no. But,
I understand. It's not a good song either.
I think this one could have made the cutting room floor. You had enough music.
Yeah. Especially that circus music. That was pretty weird.
Well, I saw it on an Elton John album.
Yeah. I was very confused when that came on. But let's get into the rating then. I'm just gonna rate the second half. I don't know what you're doing, Cooper.
I'm going for the full album since we didn't really rate it the first week.
I mean, didn't we?
No.
Oh, okay. So I will do the full album as well then. But getting into the system we've got here at Audio Shop, we've got a 1 to 5 scale, right? 1 out of 5, 5 out of 5. And we put a nice little car spin on it. Cars are these fun new things that are going to be hitting showroom floors later this year. A little preemptive to make a podcast about them. A music podcast referencing cars when nobody knows what they are yet. But they're pretty cool. They're going to be the next big thing, trust me. They replace the horse. You can get places so much faster. But top of the line is showroom. The cream of the crop rises to the top. And then 1 out of 5 is the scrapyard. Worst of the worst. Imagine Dragons Origins bad of music.
This is all clapping on your left ear.
Yeah. The 2-1 clapping exclusively in left ear. Nothing else. No singing. That's it. So Cooper, what would you rate Goodbye Yellow Brick Road in its entirety?
Well, I think the second LP is a little weaker than the first LP overall. I say as a whole, I'd still give it a solid like new. Obviously, there's some mixing issues. For me, that didn't bother me as much. Obviously, you're more affected by it, Sam. And there's some definite duds here every now and then. Your Sister Can't Twist, Jamaica Jerk Off. But it's got like several classics. And then beyond that, just like several solid songs of some great songwriting, great performances. Doesn't always stick the landing, but most of the time he's at least trying something, and I can respect that. Hopefully this. I'm looking forward to see what else this Elton John guy does in the future. I think he's got. I think he's got big plans in the future.
Cooper, he already did his farewell tour.
Oh, that could be right. What was it called? Farewell Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah. Didn't it get ended because of?
Yeah, because of COVID. He's like 80.
Yeah.
It would have literally killed Elton John.
3-year tour.
Yeah, the man's indulgent. But yeah, I like new. I mean, if you're an Elton John fan, you probably already listened to this album. But even if you only have like a cursory knowledge of him, I'd recommend giving it a listen. On the longer side, but I think you'll get your bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Sam?
Now, this is probably going to be controversial.
Oh.
I'm going to give it a low fixer-upper.
A low fixer-upper?
Maybe even a high-used rental.
Wow, that's okay.
I am looking at this as a whole, you know. It might be great music, but it's all about presentation, right?
Right.
The mixing on this album is shit. There's no two ways around it. It's god-awful. Whoever did it probably should never work in music again. Maybe should be taken out back and shot. You know, it's bad. It's that bad.
We're going to hunt down some poor 78-year-old audio engineer. You.
It's really bad.
Your music, hand it over.
And I am speaking from listening to it on headphones. This is my experience. If I had sat down and listened to it all on speaker, I'm sure it'd be like new. The music is great. It's all great music, you know. But the mixing is so terrible that I can't let it get away with it, you know. But the songs are great, but the mixing is bad. The mixing is really bad. At least, I mean, it's fixable. I will say that. So that's probably why I should give it maybe high fixer-upper, somewhere in that fixer-upper range. If you listen to it on speakers, all the problems are fixed. You know, there's some gripes with songs, but that's the case for anything. At least it's not like other albums where they mix the main vocal line so far back that you can't hear what they're saying. This is just strictly the era of they're fucking with what goes in each ear because they can. So if you listen to it on speakers, yeah, absolutely. You're planning on listening to this on headphones? Don't. It's not worth it.
You know, you say that's controversial, but I think you've expressed that obviously it's something that really bothered you. I think a fixer-upper is something is kind of in the realm of good qualities, but some big asterisks next to it, right? Which, obviously qualifies here. So I can understand it. Obviously, maybe some other people would have stronger opinions of, you can't not like an Elton John album.
I mean, I like the album. It's just whoever mixed it is awful. The music was great and they ruined it.
Well, maybe they'll release a remaster.
I can only hope.
Elton in mono.
Yeah. It's not even, that I want it to be mono. Like I said, the Benny and the Jets with the synth going in each ear, that's fantastic. That is how you should do stereo. There's the call and response. They're two equally matched instruments, and it doesn't dwell too long in either ear before combining back together. If you balance it in stereo, that's fine. They didn't balance it. They just slapped everything in the left ear. That's what's bad about it. But enough about that.
Hey, well, that's why we have this show to review.
Yeah. And that is the end of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. And now we're going to roll on over to the spare tire, which is basically whatever else we've been listening to. And it's been 2 weeks, so we got a little bit.
Yeah.
Or I should say Cooper probably has a little bit.
For my recommendations, I'll give. I've been listening since we listened to the Traveling Wilburys. I've kind of been going through some of the back catalog of George Harrison, and I listened through "Living in the Material World," his 1973 album. Obviously, this is post Beatles, and I think it's pretty good. I'm not sure if it reaches the heights of what the Beatles ever reached to. It's got some solid songs in there. Obviously, George knew what he was doing. He wasn't just writing off the coattails of Paul and John. I also listened through a Ringo Starr album. That was less good.
I've not listened to any of his solo stuff.
What, Ringo's or George?
Ringo.
Ringo solo stuff is.
I listened to, we talked about this on the last one, Cooper. I listened to Cloud 9.
Oh yeah. He's got like a good song here or there, but
yeah,
overall they kind of range on the hokey side. They also listened through Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney's 1971 album Ram, and I think that was also very excellent. Ram On is a great song. And if you're a Beatles fan and you haven't listened to this one, I'd give it a listen. It's got obviously a lot of Beatles isms, but also, with Paul in full control and with his wife, kind of dual songwriting. It's got some interesting ideas on it.
As for me, I mainly listen to podcasts for the past 2 weeks.
Which podcast?
Some Review Bra, catching up. The VORW International Podcast, very highly rated. Listen to my favorite songs off of Traveling Wilburys. Listen to Out of the Blue. Went through and listened to all that again. Listened to a couple of the JoJo OPs quite a few times.
Hey, there we go.
My issue is when I listen to music is mainly when I drive, and I need things that engage me to keep me awake. And new music usually does not do that, because what keeps me awake is singing or jamming out to songs that I already know. So it's not really conducive to listening to new music.
That's fair. I like to listen to music when I'm reading.
Yeah, which we've already established that you're a freak for being able to do.
Maybe I've just... What if we could use 100% of our brain?
Yeah. I don't understand how you can take in both at the same time and form an opinion.
I was doing it right before I got on here.
You
that or
freak.
Whenever I'm running. When I'm running, I also
makes
do
sense, yeah.
No, that one's a little easier.
But see, I run on a treadmill, so I watch stuff on Netflix.
I don't like the treadmill, so I just run outside.
Yeah. But anyway,
I tried running with a sports drink for the first time.
A what?
I felt a sports drink. I usually don't drink like liquids like during a run. Since I've been running longer, I don't want to die. And I felt disgusting. I was like, oh, it's like getting everywhere, like on my clothes. I'm like, oh.
I can only
cocky by a Gatorade.
I can only imagine. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to the Audio Shop podcast. If you like what you heard and you're on Twitch right now, if you scroll down, there's a big old picture of Jeff Lynne. You click that, take you over to our YouTube, where we got all the past episodes uploaded. And also down there, next to that, is a little box where you can leave suggestions for what you want us to listen to. And if you're listening on Netflix, yes, we're on Netflix now. No, if you're listening on YouTube,
I wish,
and you like what you hear, you can come on over to Twitch, 8 p.m. on Sundays, and join in the chat.
And you'll find out what we'll be listening to if you go to the @AudioShop14 Twitter. We'll let you know what we're going to listen to.
Or if there's a cancellation, which happens.
Or if there's a cancellation, or we're skipping. That happens every now and then. Give us a follow.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See you later, shoppies. See ya.